everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Monday afternoon. Joey, I had a meeting this morning, get a late start. Hopefully we're going to get this done. But we also want to mention ultimatesportschannel.com, and this is the weekly rewind. So you can head over to ultimatesportschannel.com. You'll always see a sports feed there, plus information about the show. We appreciate you going over there, and you get all the stories that you're getting on lots of other channels. We have 20 new posts every single day on different sports, so lots of fun there. But we are also on Patreon, Joey. We want to talk a little bit about that and how people can find us going forward.
Yes, just go to patreon.com, create an account. It's quick and easy. And then search Ultimate Sports Channel. You'll have to pledge $5 coming next week to see all our videos for a month. Anything we post, you'll get for $5 a month. You just simply pledge/subscribe. Same thing on Patreon, and you will get our content.
And yes, as we say, we're always looking and appreciate. We're trying to do this without commercials. So we'd rather be in a subscription basis of what we kind of learned through Patreon. So we're trying to do that. $5 for a whole month of content. And in addition to these shows, we're going to put on lots of videos that are different things that we wouldn't even do. Like some crazy people do sports. Oh my God. Some of the stuff they do is insane. So we'll try and find lots of that for you as well to fill in the cracks when the show comes out. But, you know, it's easy now. Every Monday, you'll see the show, rewind of the previous week, some discussion of future things, but mostly talking about the interesting stories of the week and things that you might have missed, and our opinions, which of course you missed because we haven't done them yet, which we're going to do right now. And we've been through all the other sports, and we're moving on the NBA, and lots going on in the NBA to start off the season. You know, it's early. We don't want to push any panic buttons, but there's some panic buttons being pushed. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to go in the NBA here. Some interesting stories coming up this week. Number one, well, we know what this is, right? I mean, we had two teams go to the finals last year. One that people believe will go again, and one that's going to get the first draft pick this year.
It was probably not the team that people thought to be.
No, that's right. When Leonard left,
probably thought Toronto was going for the first overall pick, and Golden State still had a chance to win, but it's completely the opposite. What's next for Golden State? Golden State is in the bottom of the Western Conference, bottom of the league. Probably be round last place this year with Steph Curry now going out with a broken hand. Draymond Green's injured. D'Angelo Russell's injured. No Klay Thompson. They might as well tank the season.
Well, Joey, and when you love to be fans for the new arena, you know, for the first time ever, you're probably out get some tickets, and they're going to be maybe the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
This is hard to believe. This is cycles. It's the way it happens. Players get old. Injuries come into play. This is the kind of thing that happens after a big run. So I would say shocking how bad it is. Shocking how bad it is. But you know, almost due. I mean, they were at the top of the league for 6 years.
It was
due to happen.
You know, they lost Durant, but they just lost everybody all at once here. So it's going to be a tank for them. Maybe get a good pick, come back next year with everyone healthy. They might be dangerous again the coming years. I don't think it's a complete rebuild here, but definitely this year is a goner. Yeah,
and Joey, we hate to see it. We love winners. We love teams that have been great. We love Steph Curry. His dad used to play on the Raptors. Yeah. My trade rumors that I've been throwing around for the last little while are gone now. He's injured.
Yeah,
so Curry not coming to the Raptors. But anyhow, you know, we got other things that are going on. Here's an interesting thing, how the world kind of turns, right? And then there's other great things that are going on, even with the Warriors having trouble. One of this is a couple of triple-doubles.
Yeah, so
early in the season.
Luka Doncic had 2 this week, and he's really been the big story. He plays for the Dallas Mavericks. He was a great player last year. If you follow basketball at all, you definitely know him.
Yeah.
One of the top up-and-comers. And then he had 2 triple-doubles this week. And basically, the biggest one was when he played LeBron, had a triple-double. LeBron had a triple-double, too, in the exact same game, went to overtime. LeBron kind of barely beat, the Lakers barely beat Dallas. But it was more of, people were talking about, was that the passing of the torch? You know, official, you know, kind of another young guy coming up in the NBA here. Him specifically being such a great scorer in Dallas there. So Luka Doncic taking the torch as the best player might be this year. You know, Giannis Antetokounmpo out there in Milwaukee, while he was a beast last year, kind of expected again this year. Didn't really add anything too crazy to his game. It might be Luka Doncic's year to be named the best player in the NBA. Certainly probably the best younger player under the age of like 25 right now. But that was an impressive week of basketball for him. 2 triple-doubles, one against the King and LeBron James, and really getting high praise from him as well. So it was a bit of a passing the torch there. LeBron likes his game, and so does the rest of the NBA. It'll be interesting to see how Luka Doncic continues his career career. Also, by the way, he'd be a European player too.
Yeah, very interesting.
Maybe one of the best European players by the time he's done.
And I think he's going to be a star that way. It's still pretty funny that LeBron throws a triple-double up against him.
No one cares.
Just to make sure that LeBron is still the best. And don't come after me, kid. And I can still do it. Maybe not every game, but LeBron can still do it anytime he really feels like it. I think he's going to be a monster this year. He's healthy. He's sounding good, looking good. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So the other one is for our own team. So let's talk about the 2 division finalists last year. All this panic around here, the Raptors, Kawhi, losing him, all this kind of stuff. Here's what I want to give credit to. I want to give credit to the management of the Raptors, who really felt they had a team built around Kawhi to win the playoffs, but not around Kawhi for the next number of years.
Well, really the question is, are they as good as last year, and can they repeat? I mean, the question has been thrown out there a bunch of times already, but with this start of 4-2, looking pretty good. They lost a tough game to Milwaukee, tough game to Boston already, which isn't great, but they lost those games last year with Kawhi Leonard anyway.
Milwaukee was 3-1 against them last year. Definitely a team they had trouble with in the regular season.
For sure. So, are they as good as last year? I mean, they're definitely close enough that I think they're going to be definitely contenders in the Eastern Conference. Pascal Siakam continues to get better. Lowry is, in his late age, continues to get better too. Throwing up huge games of 30 points or more has been very impressive. Van Fleet's doing what we expect. So, really, and the big twist here for the Raptors was with Kawhi leaving, can the guys who kind of came off the bench and did great be starters and be great? And so far, they're living up to what Masai Ujiri saw in them. He is arguably the greatest GM that we've seen in a long time, changing this team around. Doing it without his own picks, actually, has been very, very impressive. So, are they as good as last year? I think they're definitely Eastern Conference bound, but they're going to have a tough series against Philly or Milwaukee. It depends how the playoffs go. That could be a second-round matchup, but hopefully it's an Eastern Conference matchup, finals matchup instead of a second-round matchup would be better for Toronto for sure. But definitely a lot of potential there would be interesting going forward to follow. But forget Kawhi. Raptors pretty much the same as last year.
And you can't forget Kawhi because he's playing well out of the gate too.
Well, that's another topic here. Kawhi over in LA is just dominating the NBA again. I mean, we talk about all these young guys. Another topic is Siakam get respect playing Toronto, another young guy on the rise. But really, compare them all to Kawhi. Kawhi's the best player in the NBA right now. Another topic I had, because it's all about who's being the best player. It's the number one topic in the NBA. So many different players, they just like to create debate. Is LeBron, can he regain the best player in the NBA as his team actually has the best record in the West? But again, it all comes down to, is anyone better than Kawhi right now? And as a healthy player, Kawhi Leonard, man, in the Clippers right now just looks so crazy on defense, on offense, and really without Paul George yet. If he's healthy, talent-wise, he's probably the best player right now in the NBA.
Well, I think there's no doubt two-way player for sure. Two-way player, the best, maybe. We're going to find maybe the best ever. He's only 28 now, maybe 29.
Yeah, he's up there, but
20 years old. But as a two-way player, just can't be anybody better. He can put up points when he needs to and put up lots of them, but he can also play tough defense. And that's what puts him ahead of LeBron when it comes to who's the MVP right now. He does it both ways. But you know what? I'm thinking Tiger Woods. I'm thinking LeBron. I'm thinking healthy. Coming back this year, he's played hurt a lot. He's not a whiner, so you never hear when he's really hurt. Kind of in that motif of a great player that's coming to the end of his career, that he has another year or two left to go. The health is really big. I think it really helped him miss playoffs last year, and he missed some time as well on top of that. So, you know what? I think still LeBron's going to be number one in the end.
Well, it'd be more about regaining it for LeBron. You talk about Tiger. This would be an actual, believe it or not, would be regaining the best player award. MVP, I don't know, but just amongst the league right now, he's not considered the best player, which is sad amongst the peers. But if he can get to the Lakers to a title, I think you'd have to say he regained the best player in the NBA at his later age here. He's just finding ways to win, change teams around, change the way he plays himself. Be very impressive stuff for sure if LeBron James can get the Lakers to a title-bound season.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. When it really comes down, I talk about it all the time, it's about winning. And until LeBron stops doing that, it was kind of an off year last year, but that was a restructuring. He had to do restructuring, which he did. We've talked about the fact he actually runs the team, no matter what the management says, but LeBron does it. He's done that. He's got good players around him now, and he's healthy. They could be really tough this year. I'm looking forward to that happening. And as you said, Lakers' best record with LeBron regaining best award. We just talked about that. But that is a topic that people are looking at. Is he great enough?
And the record has to be there. That's why I brought it up. For him, there's no such thing. Like, a lot of these guys right now are considered one of the better players in the NBA. They don't need the record to do it right now, which is kind of sad. But then when you get guy who literally is probably the best player in the NBA, is all about the record to go with it. Like, they can't give LeBron any credit if his team's no good. But other guys are getting credit, and their teams aren't winning anything, which is surprising here. So, for LeBron...
Which, if you go watch the NFL show, someone treated Tom Brady that way today in our show about the fact that you got to win. You got to win.
Are winning.
Nobody's
winning.
You got to win it all, man. That's what matters.
Lamar Jackson's been there literally 2 years. It'd be like, though, like, I mean, and if you're an NBA player right now, first of all, if you're on a team that, like, you're only in your second year, like Lamar Jackson's doing in football, he's his second year, so you got to give him a chance. But I'm talking about guys like John's actually been in the league for a little while now, and stuff like that. I'm just...
He's just playing to get out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, like, I'm just looking at other players right now. LeBron James, though, his record has to go with it, especially in Laker Town. But in my mind, a title for him is the only way he regains the Best Player award. But, you know, really, obviously, with Kawhi winning in 2 different cities, going to Toronto for 1 year winning, you know, that's your Tom Brady mentality. Obviously, is a better winning record than LeBron right now. Kind of, unfortunately, has a bad finals record. So, really, title for him. He might be able to regain the Best Player award for sure. But there's a lot of young guys right now that they just talk about, like Luka Doncic, that we're going to get into Minnesota later. So, you know, it's just tough for them in the NFL, where I feel like the NFL stars are a little bit younger and on teams that are winning even in the regular season. These teams aren't even making playoffs. So
well, I'll tell you what.
It's just funny.
LeBron's about to miss playoffs one time in 10 years. I think he's going to take the Lakers back there this year. It's going to be interesting to see. As you say, I think his greatness will depend on getting a championship with the Lakers before he retires. Doesn't have to be this year, but he needs to do it. That'll cement him as one of the greatest players of all time, because I've talked about him coming through a weak division. Talked about Tom Brady the same way. He's always come through a weak division. Well, you know what? He's in the West now, and it's his job to really, and he's up against Kawhi. It's his job to really make this happen, and then be able to, you know, claim that really.
It'll be a conversation that'll always go on, of course, with the Eastern Conference and stuff like that. And unfortunately, he didn't win at the rate in the big game as Tom Brady did to forget about his division in his conference.
Yeah, Tom Brady won 6 of them.
Yeah, so, you know, we forget about the division he's in. We forget about the fact he gets a bye, he usually gets a home game, and then Super Bowl. LeBron, unfortunately, didn't win enough in the finals to make us forget that he was in the Eastern Conference all this year. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to have to win with the Lakers. And if he does, I think the LeBron-Jordan conversation might even have more significance to it. But right now, it doesn't.
I agree 100%. Hey, let's look at Siakam in Toronto. Are we talking about one of those young stars?
Well,
certainly in the playoffs last year.
And the biggest thing for him is he did get a winning season in his first year. So he's more of the, like, Lamar Jackson I talked about, who did go 6-1, made the playoffs, and is good this year. He's more of that because now it's on him, though. But if he can follow it up with a playoff season, I don't think he needs to win a title to back it up, but definitely a playoff and a maybe first-round win. He's definitely an upper-comer, might be one of the best, top 10 in the league. Yeah. He does it on both ends. Talk about Kawhi. He's a miniature Kawhi right now. He has a long way to go, obviously, because Kawhi did kind of not carry, but in the finals, like, he shut down the best player on the best team when he was with San Antonio and with Toronto. Siakam's going to have to do that in the playoffs here, because they're going to face Milwaukee. He's going to have to shut down Giannis. Yeah. Or in Philly, he's going to have to shut down Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. So we'll see that again. But the biggest question is, and this was a topic on NBA.com, was him playing Toronto. Will he ever get the credit that some of these other guys have been brought up with Giannis, mainly because he's a freak of nature. But guys in Brooklyn, guys in New York, guys in LA, even the guy in Dallas, Luka Doncic, Dallas is still a big city. Toronto, will he ever get that kind of respect in Toronto there? And that's really the question.
Joey, it's never going to happen. Unless Toronto's back in first place, they'll forget about Toronto.
So they'll forget about Siakam.
It was all about Leonard. And, you know, much as they gave Toronto credit, they gave Leonard all the credit. The Raptors need to be in first place. They're 4-2. It's a good start. If they're in first place, people will keep taking notice. If they drift away at all, third, fourth, even though they might come back and win the playoffs, Toronto goes off the map. That's just the way it is. We're going to have to put up with that. But if they can keep winning, keep in the forefront, this could be a team to be reckoned with.
That's going to be a tough thing about Siakam. He could be a great player, but he also depends on winning more than other teams that may be in a big city and be a great player. That will get recognition just because they're in a big city.
They're in that city,
But Siakam, definitely up-and-comer. He's living up to his contract right now. He got the max deal this year.
Hey, we talked about Minnesota. We just talked about, but we didn't talk about them. We could talk about them in the NFL. Minnesota's coming back. Unfortunately, lost this weekend, but playing good. And what about these young players on Minnesota?
In the NBA now.
Yeah, in the NBA now.
This is the NBA show. We're comparing different leagues, but this is the NBA show. Minnesota is obviously an NBA team that has been really struggling and really went through a stage where they got all these young players in the early draft picks. Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins. They went and got D Rose last year, he's now on with
Wiggins, who we'd
Detroit.
like to see play well, because he's a Canadian.
Yeah, man. I mean, they just got a lot of weapons there. They finally come off to a pretty good start here. The question is, can they get to the playoffs and live up to the hype? I think they can. I mean, Andrew Wiggins blamed management a little bit with all the changes that have gone on, and maybe this is the first year with kind of a repeat in management as far as coaching and players go. And they might be able to figure it out here. They have the talent. Can they get the players to want to do it and get to the playoffs? I think they might have done it. The Western Conference this year, Golden State's no good. New Orleans is no good. There's your typical bad teams. But, how many teams are really improving? They might be the only one to kind of get in there. OKC's no good anymore.
Warriors are no good.
All these stars went to LA Lakers, LA Clippers, and Houston. Really, and maybe Portland. After that, it's a free-for-all. So they might have found the secret
And
this
once you
year.
get in the playoffs, you never know, right? These young guys all of a sudden get comfortable winning. You never know what
I think they
happen.
found the secret. I think they're a playoff team this year, off to a good start. I think they finally got Wiggins and all these guys to start to maybe live up to their contracts.
No, I agree 100%. And you just talked about the beast in Milwaukee.
Greek Freak, yeah.
The Greek Freak, what's going on there?
So where will he end up is really the conversation. I mean, there's a lot going on with him. I mean,
I think it's going to be hard in Milwaukee for the season because all they're talking about is him leaving.
I think it's what's weird is like he goes, he has extra motivation to beat Toronto because he didn't beat him last year, but then Toronto's a destination he might go to.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't really know where to go with this. I feel like it was mishandled so far by him. I feel like he shouldn't have said that winning depends on kind of where he goes next year. I think that was a mistake.
Right.
Although he's probably trying to put pressure on the team and the management to get it done this year. I just think he should have tried to put it under the rug until the offseason, but he hasn't.
I agree, but you know what? These guys don't do this anymore. It's out there. They know they're looking. I don't want to say anything about Milwaukee. I really honestly don't know much about the city of Milwaukee. Good baseball team and good basketball team. But when you're
not a city.
when you're huge like this guy is, you're going to go to somewhere where your marquee status makes you millions of dollars. I don't think that can happen in Milwaukee. I think this is his last year. But it's unfortunate it's being talked about so early in the season. It's going to be tough for everybody else to play under that kind of, wow, he's leaving at the end of the year kind of thing. Milwaukee needs to trade him if that's the case. You don't want to lose him to free agency, get nothing back, trade him to a ton of picks and go on from there. If he's leaving anyway, who cares? Get him traded, get your picks. Unless the season, it's like Leonard. We knew Leonard was going, but we also thought we had a championship in our hands.
And they're looking at that too
they
this
have
year.
that?
I mean, they're looking at the Eastern Conference going Toronto, though, Kawhi. But, I mean, they got to still play Toronto. They still got to play Philly.
Yeah.
They got to play Boston. They got to play Indiana. Like, it's
not
not
easy to get out of this division now.
And Kawhi was a winner, too. So it was a little bit more guaranteed for Toronto than it was Milwaukee, although it was still a big risk by Masai. But that's because they were confident in what they had otherwise.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, not really saying right now they're a one-man show with a bunch of old dudes. So if they lose him, they lose all the old guys they're rebuilding. So it'd be interesting for sure.
Talking about big cities. The New York Knicks, man. What's happening? Big city, you go there, you should be like the star of the world when you're playing in New York.
Is there hope for the New York Knicks? I mean, RJ Barrett's on the Knicks right now. He's having a good season. They are 1-5, so they're not going to make the playoffs. But a little bit of young hope there with RJ Barrett. Maybe a free agent signing in Giannis, but I doubt it because it's such a brutal organization.
Yeah.
So really the question is there hope for them? There will be a little bit of hope. They're going to keep getting picks. I think they got a guy in RJ Barrett who's a little bit stronger than some of the other draft picks they've had so far that have obviously they've traded away or have left in free agency. He's going to attract some people too. I know a lot of people have a ton of respect for him. Steve Nash is very involved as his godfather. You might attract some free agents finally in the summertime for the New York Knicks, but they need to do it. But there's still only a glimmer of hope for the Knicks.
A glimmer, 1-5, not a great way to start. So is this year just the glimmer? The following years are the ones we're really hoping for something to happen. Nothing's going to happen this year. It's unfortunate. Got our Canadian guy in there, and hopefully he's going to be able to mature into a great player. I think we're looking at a 3-year cycle here till this all comes together. All makes sense.
A lot of the old guys will be done.
One more big free agent comes in. Maybe it's Giannis. That can make the Knicks good. Sad start. I thought they were going to be a little better. Maybe they will be. 1-5 is a tough way to start, though.
He's trying his best. This year is not the glimmer is looking at a good player like RJ Barrett and hoping that one day he'll attract players to help him out.
Yeah, that's what you got to. That's what you
glimmer
got to be
hope
looking
got,
for.
yeah.
So, too bad. We'd like to see New York teams do well for the sport because they're obviously high profile. They mean a lot to every sport that's out there, and we'd like to see them make a run, but it won't be this year, unfortunately. So, who will be our championship teams with early impressions? Well, I'm I mean, I made mine. Raptors are going to back to the show and be the world champions again this year. I have no doubt about it. Very strong team. Looks as good as last year with Kawhi. I'm a little nervous about the playoffs. Obviously, Kawhi's a playoff specialist. It's going to be tough to overdo that, but I think this team is, man, it's a team. These guys are, there's no one single guy like there was last year. It was all Kawhi.
What about the West?
Kawhi. You know, so I think that's got good possibilities. I am totally confident LeBron is going to make a run again. Going to be Lakers and Raptors in the finals. Raptors winning a second in a row. I believe with the young guys. Raptors are still very young team in the concept of the NBA right now. I think we've got a dynasty on our hands here. And maybe one move at the playoffs. You know, I mean, Kawhi's here all year because that had to be that way. But you got a good team and maybe one big move at the playoffs. I think they got a real shot.
Definitely possible. I mean, if they're going to win on chemistry, though, I don't know if you'd want to do that if they're doing really well, but maybe. You know, we'll see what injuries provide and how the season goes and what kind of fishes are out there for them to get. My early impression that's changed my mind is the Philadelphia impression, which they are undefeated. They're 5-0.
Yeah.
And they're really gelling together. And so with early impressions, I'm going to roll with Philadelphia this year. I had Milwaukee. I had the Raptors. I've had Indiana and other teams. I'm going to roll with Philly, who only lost to us on a bank shot that bounced 4 times before going in because it was destiny for the Raptors to beat Philly and win the title quietly and all that stuff. I'm going to roll with, because of an early impression, I'm going to roll with Philly, who's got a lot of chemistry going for them right now. Their big men are playing well. Their young guys are continue to mature. They were so close last year. You almost beat the team that ended up winning. Yeah. So there's all those things going for them right now. And another city that is destined to have a kind of a group of titles. You look at Washington, got baseball, then they got hockey. No, they got hockey, basketball, then baseball, right?
Yeah.
WNBA. Philly got football. Maybe it's time for the basketball team to step up. Maybe hockey down the road. But I just feel like, they're flying under the radar, believe it or not, with Milwaukee and Toronto. I think they're the team to actually get it done this year in the Eastern Conference. In the West, my early impression has forced me off my Houston Rockets. They got blown out yesterday by Miami. Russell Westbrook, I mean, he's not a big enough change right now. I thought he would be. I mean, he's still doing his triple-doubles. But James Harden has had more games missing 14 three-pointers than the rest of the NBA.
Wow.
I mean, goddamn, he cannot take as many shots. I'm going to roll with the Clippers. So Clippers and Philly for me in the title game, which would kind of be cool. Kawhi against Philly again after the shot that doomed them last year. But yes, those are the early impressions that have changed my mind on both sides. And I'll roll with those two early.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you get the Clippers there, that's going to put Kawhi in the talk of the best player of all time. He's
oh, my God.
3 already at a young age. Jordan, we know, was 6. But Kawhi's winning on different teams.
3 different teams.
If he can do this on 3 different teams, he doesn't have a dynasty around him. I mean, you can say what we want all about Jordan, but he had some great players around him. Kawhi's moved from team to team. He's helped build teams, and he wins when he comes in. If he can win again in the Clippers, I think he starts to fit into the greatest of all time talk. And it'll be really interesting if he can get that team there. So there you go. Early impressions. I got Raptors, Lakers. You got Clippers, and who's that team on this other side?
76ers.
Oh, man, I can't believe you're not taking the Raptors. But anyway, there we are. NBA top 10 subject for this week. Look forward to being back here next Monday. Enjoy the week of play in the NBA. Every single week as we get closer and closer, it's going to get more and more exciting as the season goes on. So we'll look forward to chatting next Monday.
Grab something to eat.
Oh, we're going to do that. Are we going to do the other ones?
Oh, the F1 and stuff. Yeah.